That was my first contact with a social enterprise. That's how I discovered this field, and I could go a little bit deeper in this and learn a bit more about sustainability and food production. There you have a wide range of produce that are discarded for many reasons. And so it's a nice way to give a second life to the pastry that would otherwise be wasted at the end of the
That's
day.
amazing. Hi, it's Kathy Wong here, your host and producer for Crazy Dreamers TV. Today I'm sitting in a really interesting space. I'm in the co-working space here in London and I have an amazing social entrepreneur, another female. You know how much I love talking to female social entrepreneurs, and we're going to be talking to a lady who has a business that's called Elysia, that's only been going for 2 years but already achieving major impact. So I'm going to now introduce you to Sophie Andre. Sophie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, and you?
Yeah, lovely. Thank you so much for agreeing to have this conversation. It was great meeting you a couple of weeks ago at the meetup.
Yes.
Over in, where was that? Seems like a long time ago now.
Yes, next to Oxford Street,
Yeah.
regarding the Sustainable Development Goals.
That's right,
Yes.
and I was so impressed by your presentation, so I thought I've got to have you on the show.
Well, thank you.
Sophie, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure, well, I'm French. I arrived in London about 2 years ago, and before that I was studying in France, in Cardiff, then in the UK, and then in England, economics.
Okay.
After that I moved to the United States for a few months, where I met a few entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs, and then I moved back to France to work for a few years in startups.
Yes.
And finally moved to Senegal for another experience in startup, working for digital companies.
Oh, what were you doing in the digital companies?
I was taking care mostly of the financial parts of the business and business development as well.
Yes,
So,
okay. And then how did you land here? What's brought this about?
Well, actually for personal reason, my partner was living abroad, and we thought we could actually settle down for at least a few years in London.
Right.
So because it looks like a
Yes.
fantastic city to work
Yes.
at and yes, to live.
So here you are.
Exactly.
And then, okay, so that's what brought you to London, but then what brought you to start this business?
So when I was in Columbus, in Ohio, in the United States, I met with Joe Dolos. He's a social entrepreneur,
Okay.
and he started a business called Chicken Takeover. It is a restaurant, a chicken restaurant.
Chicken restaurant.
A chicken restaurant, delicious chicken. But he very much inspired me, and it's not only about the chicken recipes.
Right,
He
right.
actually has a very, I find like a fantastic business model. He employs young people or people that are just out of jail to train them and to make them work in the restaurant.
Ah.
So that was my first contact with a social enterprise. That's how I discovered this field, and how I found it like very inspiring, because Joe is a very successful man, very successful in business, and he's also having like a strong impact on the local community.
Right, so that's where you got your inspiration and your interest for social enterprise.
Yes, exactly. So then when I moved to London, I didn't have a job, and I wanted to start my own company after working for a few years for different startups.
Yeah.
So I thought I could actually have a similar model. So I started looking around in London, see what's going on. Food is something quite important for Londoners. They buy lots of takeaways.
Yes, yeah.
So I thought there was a market for a food business, and especially for breakfast, taking away breakfast. So I thought, okay, maybe I could employ a couple of young people that need additional training to gain confidence and to go back to the job market. I partnered with the Princess Trust, which is a charitable organization that gather young people to train them, to give them support, and then give them opportunities in businesses. So I partner with them and had the chance to recruit a person from them, a very young lady that was very motivated to learn about marketing and sales. And my idea at that point was to do a breakfast business where I would have a stall next to each underground station where I could sell high quality breakfast to workers on the go.
Right.
And I would train those young person to actually sell the breakfast and become the ambassador of the brand. So I learned a lot from this experience, but it didn't work. And I thought, okay, well, actually, while sourcing high quality ingredients for the breakfast offering, I discovered that there was lots of food that being wasted all along the supply chain and at farm gates as well. So I thought I could go a little bit deeper in this and learn a bit more about sustainability and food production.
Because I remember, share with us the results that you shared that night about the amount of food wastage in the UK.
Sure, so 1/3 of the food is wasted,
Yes.
and this is globally. And actually, if you want to try to picture it, you can think of Olympic swimming pool, and more specifically, 500,000 of Olympic swimming pool totally covered with food waste each year. So
Just in the UK or worldwide? Globally.
Yeah, yes.
Wow.
So it's a huge amount.
Yeah,
it's
huge
crazy.
amount. Right, so that's what then really spiked your interest to get involved in this whole food sustainability area.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So it was very interesting to go deeper in this field and maybe to start something around that. So then I decided to source all my ingredients from surplus, from local producers. Meaning high quality products that would be wasted because of a wide range of reasons. It can be overproduction, it can be that the shape or the size or the color of the fruits and vegetables are not exactly right, so they are rejected and not even harvested at the farm. So buying all those produce at a fair price from the producers, so that it's a win-win situation.
Yes,
they get an income from something they would not be able to sell.
Or just go into one of these swimming pools, right?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
And on my side, I'm able to have very high quality food at a discounted price because I buy it at a reduced price.
Yes.
So that I can prepare high quality breakfast at a fair price for our clients as well.
And I know you've brought in some examples here, so maybe we could have a look at that and you can explain to us a little bit more. So what have we got here, Sophie?
So
here, have a look at this, guys. So this looks like some really delicious bread.
Yeah, so this is a sourdough bread made with lots of cereal, grains and fennel.
Yes.
And we buy it at the end of the day from our baker, because sometimes there is overproduction.
Try a little bit? I might just try a little bit. And this is cheese, is it?
Yes, it's a very nice sheep cheese from
beautiful.
Birminghamshire. So yes, you have a wide range of produce that are discarded for many reasons. And so that's how I started the business. I started it with breakfast at the beginning and then expanded it with lunch and canapés. And instead of having a stall, I saw that an easy way to get business quickly would actually to deliver breakfast, canapés and lunches directly to offices. So that's how I started delivering it.
Fantastic. So not only did you take the concept of utilising what was being wasted, you then decided to create a business where you were going to deliver these products to companies.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So we transform everything. It's not raw product. We buy the ingredients in our kitchen space, then we transform everything into breakfast and canapés, and we deliver for events in London. So instead of having a stall, I then decided to move to the catering business so that we could scale the company and cater for many people instead of just a few.
So we've got a little bit of your history, how you started it. How did you actually fund this?
It's self-funded. So
Okay.
yes, I had
Yeah.
a bit of saving when
Yes.
arriving in London, and I
Yes.
thought I would give it a go for 6 months, see what happens, if the sales are there or not, and from that point, see if we can grow the company.
Well, I believe, you know, you're hiring staff now, because how many people have got to this point? Is it just yourself?
So we are 2 at the moment,
Yes.
and
Wow.
I'm hiring 3 people for the next few months.
That's fantastic.
So yes, it's an exciting adventure.
Yes, fantastic. And so with the other person, it's not a co-founder, it's somebody that works with you.
Yes.
So you're still the one and only founder.
Yes.
And then I believe even yourself rides the bicycles to deliver the product
Yes,
as well.
I do. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we all do everything, don't we, when we first start a business?
Yes.
Right, and what's been your biggest challenge in doing this, Sophie?
I think one of the biggest challenges was at the beginning to actually convince some of the producers to get on board.
Okay.
And this is because when I started, I was delivering breakfast to maybe, I don't know, 10 people per week.
Yes.
So it's hard to convince a producer to spend some time and invest in the project idea, even if it is an idea that is attractive for them, because the orders are quite small at the beginning. So it's really building a relationship that is strong, that is solid, so that they can trust us and grow together on this project.
Which is the nature of all businesses, really. But I would have thought it's a win-win for them.
It is, but
So-
also, you know, it's good for them to have volumes, to really commit to it, to consider the business as a client that is actually bringing revenue that is important for them. So it has to be so that we can be credible.
Well, especially with, so let's talk about this product here. So look at this one, guys. Almond croissant. I can't say it as beautifully as Sophie, but this is one of those type of projects, right, that you're probably referring to.
So this is actually a very special partnership. We work with the new bakery called Popam. The founder, Oli, is a fabulous baker. He makes beautiful pastries. And we work with him on something very specific. When he has surplus, leftover croissant at the end of the day, he will transform them into almond croissant, and we will provide those almond croissants for our breakfast offerings. So it's a nice way to give a second life to the pastry that would otherwise be wasted at the end of the day.
That's amazing. So that would make me think that there are possibly lots of other opportunities where you can take something, turn it into something else. Are you looking at or planning to look at those sorts of situations down the line too?
That's true. So we potentially are going to partner with one of our key suppliers that is a cheesemaker, and potentially making cheesy biscuits fully from surplus produce, so that we could actually go retail with it and supply the network in the UK, but also in some European cities. So it would help us scale the business as well.
What could you suggest as a tip for somebody who really wants to do a social enterprise business?
So I don't know if my tip is focused directly on social businesses, but I would say that for me what helped me a lot is to have my first customers, because they became regular clients and they helped me by recommending the services to other of their partners. And this, they are very strong clients now, and I'm lucky enough to have a strong client base. And to do that at the beginning, it's just basically cold calling, emailing.
Anything you can do.
Exactly, to reach out to them.
I think the relationships is always key, but you know, a lot of people, they're shy, they just don't know how to start building that first relationship.
Yes, it's difficult. It's difficult. For our first client, what we did is just looking at Eventbrite, listing all the events in London, looking which event were green, in a sense, like focusing a bit on sustainability. And then I called 10 times the event manager to see if she could meet to organize a tasting. And that's how I got the first event.
Right.
And she's brilliant. We're still in touch.
You don't have to hound her as much now. But that's the thing, isn't it? It's resilience.
Yes.
So what is your next crazy dream?
Well, I would love to see like the reduction of food waste at a larger scale.
Yeah.
And I think for that what's important is to have the involvement of the government and to see regulations, because we can have those initiatives and reduce food waste, this is great, but to have a global impact, regulation for all the supply chain and consumers to reduce food waste is, I guess, important.
Well, that's a great crazy dream. I love that one, and I'm sure if anyone can do it, it will be you, Sophie. Look, thank you so much for your time. I think that was, I'm just I mean, I love food anyway, as everybody knows. So until another episode, guys, be well and think about the purchases you make and try and support social enterprises. Crazy dreamers, guys. Bye.
Crazy dreamers. Crazy dreamers. Crazy dreamers team.